What's good, everybody? It's your boy Gordy. This is FlowTawk, Season 3, Episode 3. And we have Eleanor Luna with us. How are you, Eleanor?
Hey everybody, I'm good. How are you, Gordy?
I'm good. Thank you for coming through.
Thanks for having me.
The Hampshire Underground's in the building.
Yes. Terminus Underground, too.
Yeah, Miss Underground. There we go. I'm just going to get right to it. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and a little bit about New Hampshire Underground.
So I am a Nashua-based organization. We run two different sides of the organization. One is New Hampshire Underground, and that is musicians and artists. We got a couple things going on for them. It's a lounge that they can hang out in and do their art. We also have a community jam space where they can come in and do some jams by themselves if they want to, or collaboration with other artists. And we have a multi-purpose space that has like a podcast studio and the option of changing that into the workshop space. And then we turn it into the green room for the bands when they come to Terminus Underground.
Nice.
And Terminus is the club, the music club for music lovers, where they can have an intimate experience with the bands. And we call ourselves a micro entertainment center right here in Nashua, New Hampshire.
Nice. And where is it located?
It's on 134 Haynes Street. Not Main Street, Haynes Street, because we're underground.
Haynes, like the underwear?
Yeah, like the underwear. And then it's in an old mill building. It was built in 1908. It's kind of creepy. Some people go down there and be like, what is this place? But then they realize it's some cool music and art stuff going on down there, kind of similar to what they have going on in Lowell.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it's growing, and it started out last year, and we're in our second year, and that's why I'm here to try to bring more people out.
Yeah, congratulations on that. Congratulations. Usually the first year is the hardest. So
the first year was the hardest. Didn't think we were going to make it, but we are very blessed because the community needs it. Mm-hmm. And a good friend of mine once told me the community will let you know if you're going to stay in business or not.
Absolutely. So tell me about how you guys came across this idea of having a music club and what you guys are doing with the community and the artists there. The artists here.
It's been a long idea. So both my partner Andre from the band Dead Harrison and I have known each other since about 2009. And I've been in music myself since 1999. So that gives you a guess how old I am. But we were musicians for so long, playing out, wanting to be at the top of our game. When we are at the top of our game, we feel like we need to get to that next level in our career. So we keep working forward. Then we don't see a lot of rise in the financial side of things, even though we know that we're doing everything we possibly can. So we decided that we've seen a lot of clubs. We've toured a lot. We know what we would want out from the world. And so we decided to just start kind of processing that and figuring out the best way to give people something that they want and that they will come to continuously, and where musicians can get fairly paid. Mm-hmm. And so that was a long time coming and learning from, my music business degree and trying to formulate a business plan that made sense. And then the pandemic happened, and so it halted everything. It was 2019 when I graduated, and yeah, we were dead in the water.
Pandemic happened. I was done with Flow for Your Die, to be honest with you. Give you some insight. If it wasn't for Bernie, Flow for Your Die would be dead.
Oh, he brought you back.
He brought me back. Brought me back. Yeah.
That is good. That is a good friend.
Not only do you offer, not only do you have a club for artists to come and hang out, you also offer different services for the artists, right?
I do, yeah.
So what's some of the services you offer?
So some of the things that artists don't want to do themselves, I do willingly and in my sleep, and I love it. I'm really weird like that. I'm a business nerd. I love doing marketing. I love social media. I love networking. I love making logos and flyers, videos, and I'm still learning a little bit about that and how to use AI with videos and stuff like that. But I love doing all the back end shit that nobody else likes to do, and so does my assistant Sim. So I'm very grateful to have found her, because she'll help me with the data entry side of stuff, which I think is a little beyond me now. But
okay,
so I try to help everybody get their music into a business sense. If they want to rise and get ahead, there's certain processes that they need to do in order to make that happen. Some people don't want to, and that's okay. So there's many different types of musicians and artists out there, and I work with all kinds in every capacity. But the ones that want to be pro and want to get somewhere, I do really well with them, and they usually tend to excel.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And you also offer spaces for podcasts too, right?
Yeah, yes, we have so much going on in our micro entertainment center. So that podcast, it's now called NHU News, and NHU is New Hampshire Underground. And we design it like a almost post-apocalyptic news channel where you're finding out like gritty information about the shows that we're doing and like where we're going to be and what kind of things we're, needing help with.
Keeping the theme alive.
Yeah, it's definitely themed, and we've over the last year really themed it out, and it's very Walking Dead or horror. And I just realized, like 3 a.m. Thoughts, we're the only horror themed music venue in New England.
Oh,
that kicks, right?
I mean, definitely for Halloween it's definitely gonna be something special, especially it's coming up.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I can imagine you're gonna have something crazy going on there.
We are actually gonna have a Halloween in August, on August 2nd, and it's actually gonna be a fundraiser for our friends, the nonprofit Scare New Hampshire.
Okay.
Have you heard of them?
No.
They collect Halloween costumes for kids and adults, like families in need, because their motto is everybody deserves to celebrate Halloween if they want to.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So our motto is every day is Halloween. So we are sponsoring them. They're our nonprofit of choice. And so we're trying to at every show, we have a box where people can drop off costumes. But on the Halloween show on the, August 2nd, we're going to do like a real big fundraiser.
Okay.
So we're going to try to raise
pretty awesome.
money for them.
That's great. Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, and we're doing like some other charity work because I believe that you should give back as much as you can in your community. And I have a punk tour coming in, and they're going to be doing some fundraising for women's rights, which I'm really,
Yeah, I see you. I see you post out there on social media. You're advocating for the arts and women's rights and everything else that you believe in. I want to kind of dig deep into who you are a little bit, because as an artist, right? Artists, we just talked about this off camera. Some artists get skeptical meeting people, right? So tell them why you think that you would be the best fit in providing services for them. Tell them a little bit about your background in music. You mentioned you had a degree. Tell them a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, so it's really never been directly about my degree, but I'm glad I have it because I kind of learned from the ground up, just like everybody else, like DIY. I was very lucky. I met a female mentor really early in my career. I was 22 when I got into music. And she came from New York, and she was, all about the punk scene, and she was a DIY chick herself. But like, she befriended me and gave me every contact she had, and she told me about every way, a woman in that time period needed to be careful in doing business with men. And I absorbed everything she said, and I did everything how she would have done it, and she did it well. So she was always known as like the promo queen in Boston and like the punk goth and metal scene. So people looked up to her. Her name was Anderson Marr. She passed away, unfortunately, in a fire.
Sorry to hear that.
2010 or 11. Yeah, thank you. She was a powerhouse. She was, someone that to this day, like she would be doing the thing, even though, she'd be in her 50s by now. But I looked up to her a lot. And then I had, my own daughter and kind of let my music stuff wane. But I went back in 2014 for her memorial, and I saw Dead Harrison on stage, and they were amazing. And I didn't even know it was them. And at the end of the night, I had met Andre again and realized, like, oh my God, I missed this. I miss this networking. I miss like these people.
That spark, right? That spark,
spark. And Anders still brought that back in me. And somebody had said, oh, you're going to be like Anders one day. And I was just like, no, I'm not. No, I couldn't stand in her shoes. But now, like, I actually do feel that her whatever she had empowered me to do what I do, and I've been able to help people just because that's like what I'm impassioned by. And I think, everyone should just try something, even if they're afraid. They should just try it. So I'm there to support artists and musicians, even if they're at like the lowest level. Risk. Yeah, take that risk. Exactly. So I always attribute that to her, and just kind of loving music in general and loving to hear good music and not wanting to hear like, you know, the same boring old stuff all the time.
Yeah.
I'm really glad I'm in this environment.
Yeah, no, it's the music community here, it's really great. I mean, you know, we have mutual friends and people have been in it for a little while. You have the art school, the Nashua Community Music School.
Yeah, there's such talent here.
Even just art community overall, PSA, Positive Street Art, you know, everything, you know, the Hampshire Underground, Flow For Your Die, you know, Nashua, everything.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just growing and the kids are really getting into it more. I've seen.
Now it's about the kids.
When well, when I first started, I always thought to myself, man, there's so much talent in the city. They just need a resource. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why I started doing what I was doing. Oh, yes. 10 years later, I'm so glad to see the growth in other organizations coming together and providing that resource for.
Yeah. And the connectivity to each one of our organizations is nice to have too.
Absolutely.
I feel like we're really being supported by all of it and everyone's interest in keeping the arts afloat.
Absolutely.
Especially now when like the New Hampshire Council on Arts is non-existent at this moment.
Yeah.
So I think people are almost finding it even, you know, more of a reason to embrace the arts. I think you'll find more people try to, you know, be local too.
Yeah. And I love local talent. I think, I mean, you have your favorite major artists. Everybody has one, right? Yeah. So, but when you go to a show and you hear original music, it's all about originality for me, right? As a guest coming paying for a show, paying for my entry for a show. There's nothing like that one experience when you hear an artist you never heard from. Right. And it just blow your mind for the first 10 seconds. Yes. Right? And you get chills and you're like, oh, and now you're locked in for that set. Yeah. If you haven't experienced that, that's probably one of the, I recommend doing it. Just catch a show. Doesn't matter what it is, what genre it is. Whatever genre you like, right? Rock, hip hop, country, whatever. Whoever is playing, catch a local show. And I promise you, if the artist is good, really good, they'll catch your attention within the first 10 seconds.
Yeah. And that's why I started working with Six Minds Combined, because that kind of is what happened to me. I met him and I thought he was a great dude. You know, I'm not familiar all as much as I am with like the other stuff, the metal, the rock, and the punk and the goth. That's my jam, but I do love hip hop. And I didn't know, because hip hop can be really bad sometimes. Yeah. And sometimes it can be freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's just, hip hop is a mixture of a lot of things. You know, it started out in the streets and became commercial. Yeah. But you know, when you understand, shows can be a little crazy. But you know, that's all into who's organizing and security too, as well. But
yeah, I mean, yes, I am sure there's metal that sucks too. But I was like, okay, I'm not gonna get like the pop that I would with maybe a rock band that I might instantly maybe like. But he impressed me, and his lyrical like poetry, I could say, was just really on point. And that Eminem influence, so you can hear it. Yeah. You know, but there's other stuff in there too. So I was really lucky to be able to manage him this year and keep him going and like, you know, moving forward. So that, and Dead Harrison and the Whole Loaf, those were the people that I was helping along this year, which was quite fun.
Congrats. Shout out to Six Minds Combined and everybody in the Terminus, you know, club, Terminus and New Hampshire Underground, everybody that's participating in that whole team. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job. So you gotta, well, actually, let's mention Six Minds Combined is actually performing Saturday at the block party. He's setting off the show. So
we're so excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, we're excited to have him.
We have free CDs, so everybody come out and grab a Six Minds Combined Issue 0 CD. It's his very first CD, and it was produced by Mr. Goodbars.
Very professional looking too.
Very professional, and the art was done by My Art by KF, who's our resident artist at New Hampshire Underground too. She kind of took over all the walls, and I was like, yes, you have to be here because she's so amazing.
All the art covers and stuff.
Yeah, she's doing a lot of people's cover art. Yeah, and she's been getting around. So
That's awesome.
yeah, she's very good. She's a good salesperson too.
Check it out. Check it out. There's a little bit of everything over there. She gave me a tour last winter.
Tours, yeah. Last winter was already.
Last
wow.
winter, yeah. Last winter, she gave me a tour. It's huge. There was bands over there. I met some people. They were great people. So check it out.
Haunted living room. You can hang out in the artist and musicians lounge. You can hang out in Terminus and check that out. Yeah, we're open on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 7 p.m. to 11.
7 p.m. to 11.
Those are our 3 days a week where we open up, and it's more like co-working for cool people.
So you've been in this game for a little bit. What are some of the things that you find interesting in the process of either let me rephrase that question. If an artist comes in and says, "Hey, I want to be a part of the club," what I'm gonna switch it a little bit. So, if an artist comes in and goes, "Hey, I want to be a part of the club," what's kind of the you don't have to give me all of it, but what's kind of like the process of getting that to happen, to make it happen?
Yeah. So if an artist is interested in getting to the next level of whether that means their music or their career or their artistry, we sit down and we have a conversation for about an hour. It's no charge. I just sit and listen to what your ideas are, and then I kind of can disseminate what your needs are and how you want to achieve your goals. So then I, say we have membership available. You can do this based on membership, which allows you to have my service rate as 40% discount, or you could just do things a la carte. Like sometimes people don't want to commit, so they'll do it a la carte. So they'll take, a couple consulting times a month, and we'll sit down, we'll develop a business type plan or a marketing plan or a campaign, and see, where we need to go with what they're trying to do. And it varies because I can work with musicians, I can work with artists, I can work with writers. Like I have a poet. I'm working on a cookbook for someone who's an artist.
Cool.
Yeah. So a lot of different things that like the mainstream world, it's hard, harder for a small person to get into a publishing house, So we kind of just do things like DIY. But professional DIY.
Okay, cool.
Because I was actually trained as an artist manager first, not a musician's manager, but an artist manager, because my mother is an artist and my father was in the theater and he also managed her career. So he took her art all around, like for gallery shows and things like that, and he tried to get them like printed into greeting cards and like just all sorts of different things. And he trained me in that when I was 19. But I ended up not wanting to do it because I didn't want to work with my mother.
I understand that part.
So that's when I kind of got into music instead. That's what I wanted to do. But then years later, you're like, oh man, I have that skill and I could help these people. And it was the same with the music. I'm like, how can I help these people who are constantly seeing online? How do I get myself out there? How do I book a show? How do I do an EPK? Some people don't even know what an electronic press kit is. Mm-hmm. What's a pro? What's a performing rights organization, and who should I go with? What legal stuff should I be aware of? Copyright issues, all the stuff that I know. And
BMIs and ASCAP, yeah. So you're a marketer at heart, right? But that's what you do. That you're a really a marketer, right? So, do you want to tell the people what you do for your day job?
Work? Yeah. Oh yeah, high spectrum marketing companies. I work for Spectrum Marketing Companies by day, and I'm a vampire at night. But I love business, so I love working for Spectrum because I get to help all sorts of small businesses in every genre to grow their businesses and develop their businesses better and bring in more people so that they feel like they're part of this economy. And then I add to it with what I'm doing as part of the creative economy, and so it makes an enriched cultural environment that
it makes sense too. It does make sense. So like as an artist, if you're looking, one of the biggest things for artists is they don't know how to market themselves.
I know, and some of them really have learned. I have to say, I'm very impressed with the hippie community because they'll kind of just come through and like just do it, even if it's like not something that they've been trained in. but I do like to educate on it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I was just gonna say, it just makes sense for an artist to really have that conversation with you because you have that background. You do it as a day job. You know what you're doing. You come up with a strategic plan for them to make it work. And a lot of people are out here like that. So. Good for you for that.
Thank you.
Obviously.
I didn't know that no one was out here.
No, it's just like
everyone.
Now the people out here in regards to that
Yeah.
like they don't know the marketing. They just think that they can just post themselves and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Post
takes
the one
it's more than
time,
that.
yeah.
It's more than that, right? You have to have a plan.
I know, and I'm always yelling at people. Hashtags, people.
100% hashtags. 100% hashtags.
And emojis. I think it actually helps with the eye and breaking out.
Mhm.
Like if there's too much information, because you don't want to get people being like TLDR, too long, didn't read.
Yeah.
So our brains are
Number one thing too,
Yeah.
quality.
quality. Yeah.
Quality
For
over
sure.
quantity. Quality over quantity. I promise you, it helps 100%. So, quality, yeah. So what are some? You've worked with artists. What are some of the biggest things that irk you about artists? Or what are the biggest no-nos, pros and cons? I guess you can say about that you recommend for artists not to do. And what do you recommend for artists to do?
It's a big question. Yes. It's very layered because,
Yeah.
artists are very passionate people. They're very intent upon their vision. They're definitely visionaries and dreamers and people who have like wonderful qualities of creation. But sometimes they are unable to manage themselves out of a paper bag. And so that's like the most frustrating because, I'll book shows and I'll say, put it in your calendar, and then they won't have a calendar. And then I'll be like, can you look at the Google Calendar? Or I don't have access to the Google Calendar. Can we get a paper calendar? So there's all sorts of things, we try,
Mhm.
but the bottom line is they really are not keen on organization. And it's cool because I went to school also for organizational leadership and I'm really good at it and I know how to do that. So I can keep things going. That's why I can work like 4 jobs and do like 12 shows at the same time.
Oh, bless your heart. 'Cause
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to do all that.
It's a lot of moving pieces, I love it. I'm a business nerd. So that's the kind of thing that they don't like to do and they won't do. And oftentimes, that can be a little bit of a conflict when you need them to. That was kind of with my mother. Like I would be like, we have gallery shows coming up. I need this, that, and that piece done by the state. I don't want to do that. I don't have to do that. I don't have to do what you say. It's like,
They just want to do
you
the
wanna
art
make
and that's
money.
it. Yeah.
So, I would advise if like you have specific feelings about the business side of things and you really don't want to do something, definitely call me because I don't mind. I even told someone the other day on the Arts Commission that please give me all the data entry work. I love that shit. I don't have to even think when I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And so, I think artists can maybe acknowledge more that they need help and understand that help doesn't have to be expensive. They can, in the programs that we offer very reasonable memberships. So if you got involved in our community per se, you'd get like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of information for much, much lower than you would from like a lawyer or like someone in, the mainstream industry. So I think it's very workable that artists can get the help that they need.
Yeah. I always tell artists, keep an open mind on creative process.
And don't let ego get in the way.
Yeah, don't. That would be your worst enemy, especially if people understand that whoever's in your side, people care. So if they're giving you some sort of recommendations, it's because they care. And if you understand that part of it, you'll be open to keep an open mind and just take what they say with, in consideration, because you never know. Maybe it's a great idea. I can't tell you how many times I do, a little rap on the side. I'm not like a full blown artist, but even with like doing that, my wife, for example, she'll be like, hey, try this. I'm like, you don't know nothing. And then on my own time, I would try it. And she's like, oh, okay. You know what I mean? Like, it worked out, So like, it's just keep an open mind on things. That's all I'm saying. Because it's always nice to hear outside looking in. because sometimes you're stuck in your own habits and your own thoughts that you don't see it.
Yeah, definitely. It was so cool. Like a couple of days ago at one of our shows, my very first drummer came out, and I had managed his band originally, like, and I was only in my early 20s, and I ended up getting fired because there was like a faction. Like some people wanted me to manage them and some people didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So they just were like, okay, well, let's not. But then he saw all the things that I've been doing to help artists, and he literally said to me, I wish that we never let you go, and I see what other people saw now. And he's like, this is really cool, Eleanor. And I felt really awesome about that, to know that, like, even though I was fired back in the day, you could still get up from that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing I want people to know. Like, just because someone fires you from music, it doesn't mean that you have to quit music.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've been fired from music I was fired for my voice from my very first band because it wasn't what they were looking for. And then I formed band with my keyboard, which I used as my voice, and hired those guys back. And then we had a band for 7 years.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So you got to give things like a chance,
Yeah.
and don't give up.
Yeah, don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged. It's not easy. Even, doing what you're doing, creating platforms, myself creating platforms, it's never easy. But I've learned to embrace the journey.
Yep. And it's expensive, but, it's worth it.
Absolutely. You get to meet great people.
This gear's so nice,
Yeah, you get to meet great people, and it's definitely worth it. Definitely worth it. So tell us a little bit about what you got going on these next couple of weeks.
Sure. Well, I got stuff going on with you. But
Yeah.
first, we have a hip-hop tour coming through. This sounds pretty amazing. I didn't get to go to the last year's one, so this is the second year they're back. So it's All in Underground Hip-Hop Tour Part 2. And it's put on by this wonderful gentleman, Jesse James Perkins. And I met Jesse last week. He did a little video shoot with me, and we talked about some of the artists that are going to be on here. So I don't know if these guys can see this, but this is an all-in underground hip-hop tour with 25 touring hip-hop artists from New England, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and they're coming through. They're starting here in Nashua at the Legion. So it's Post 3 Legion, across from Liquid Therapy. And we've got Six Minds Combined, who's the artist I manage, and then Mr. Goodbars and his brother Bang are coming through, and those guys are awesome. And I know
Shout out to YHL.
coming. Oh yes, shout out to YHL and Goldie. But
Goldie, First Lady of YHL.
First Lady. And then we've got Debo coming down from up north in New Hampshire. And yeah, there's just going to be a whole bunch of people, and we're hoping to have a whole bunch of fans. So we'd love for you to come out. It is definitely going to be one of those things that I like about other people coming into our community is we can build bridges and build community with other people. So I call it Beats and Bridges. But we'd love everybody who can come to just check it out. It's going to be so much fun. And then the next day is going to be the Tree Streets Block Party that you have been working very hard on.
Yeah, shout out to Tom. Tom's working harder than me, but I am working hard on it. I got to give all the credit to Tom, though. He's incredible.
Yeah, he works very hard. And so that's happening. And New Hampshire Underground is going to have a table. We're going to be part of our mission after we lost the New Hampshire Arts Council was to start fighting for those rights. And I'm a Beastie Boys fan, so I brought up Fight
Intergalactic is my favorite song.
Yeah. Intergalactic is an amazing song.
One of my favorite songs.
Totally. So the Fight for Your Right to Party with a capital ART movement is our fighting for our rights. And I'm going to be having a booth with T-shirts, or you can bring your own T-shirts, and people can write, art rallying T-shirts, not protest T-shirts, but rally for the arts T-shirts. So I want a positive message on them and people to just, make people aware that the arts are important.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
Come check out New Hampshire Underground. Block party is going to be cool. The weather's going to actually probably hold up.
Yay.
It's going to rain in the morning. It's going to be sunshine in the afternoon, rain at night. So I'm hoping that in our window, it'll be good. Not only is New Hampshire Underground going to be there for a table, their artists, Six Minds Combined, is going to be performing. Yes, you heard about the other artists, the free CDs, and also we have wrestling that day.
Oh, wrestling.
So that's going to be great. Shout out to everybody involved. I want to just again mention Six Minds Combined from New Hampshire Underground. We have YHL, Mr. Goodbars, Goldie Goddess, Christian Moreno, who's an amazing singer. If you don't know who Christian Moreno is, he's actually the guy who's choking on the lobster roll in Hampton that the governor saved.
Whoa.
Sununu. Yeah, he went viral.
Wow.
It was crazy. But other than that, Christian Moreno actually did a song with Recycle Percussion recently. Yeah, so he's
To meet him.
he's great. He's a great guy. Fate One, that's my dude. Fate One, me and Fate One been rocking for a while. He's gonna be there. Also, we have Jay Nova DJing. Jay Nova's an incredible DJ. Shout out to all the DJs out there that worked with me in the past. Sorry I couldn't book you this time around, but we're gonna keep events going. Jay Nova DJ'd my last event, 809 Bar and Grill, and killed it. So we talked about doing this event together, and he's down. So he's gonna be rocking rocking the crowd with the music and all that. So we're gonna have a lot of fun. There's gonna be some food. We're gonna have the touch a truck. We're gonna have the horses with the cops on horses and all that stuff for the kids, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So check it out. Block Party June 14th. What else do you have going on?
Oh my God, so much. So at Terminus Underground, I don't have the flyers, but we have a show 21st. It's going to be like a retrograde is what we call it. And it's like throwback to kind of the hippie days and having, 60s grunge style, like psychedelic music, rock. That's going to be a fun time. We got some pretty soulful singers there. So it's on the 21st. And then on the 28th, on the 27th, we're having a members only cookout, but we're inviting people that are really interested in what we're doing. So that's going to be at my house. All the information is on our website and on our Facebook, so everybody can check that out.
Yeah, so don't just go over there for the free food.
Go over for free food. You got to be interested in being a member or working with me as a musician or an artist.
Absolutely. Go check it.
We'll feed you free food on the 4th of July, though, if you're a veteran. So that's the next thing. After July. That, I also am on the board for the Nashua Veterans Promise because a lot of the men in my family are veterans, and I don't think I'd be here if it wasn't for veterans, actually. So I support Tom Lopez in his effort to make Nashua veterans welcome in our community, and this is one of our initiatives we started last year. It's called 4th of July for Veterans, and we invite veterans to have a free meal at Liquid Therapy. It's just hot dogs and chips and a drink, but it's still, nice for them to come, and we give them live music instead of fireworks. So we've got Lone Wolf James that's going to be coming back this year again. Their band is a hard rock band, and they're getting really, really famous right now. So I'm so happy for them. Yeah, they're really hitting the ground running. And that's another example of like never giving up, because he and I were kind of in the same boat one time. We were like, oh, we should just give up. But then we didn't. And now he's doing his thing and it's awesome. And I'm doing this. And then Jed Harrison, who I manage, is going to be there, and also Six Minds Combined. So my guys, Jed Harrison's more of like a doom rock, goth rock. We sometimes call it doom goth. But if you like kind of more melodic and heavy music with like Sabbath sounds, that's kind of their flavor. And then Six Minds is I would say he's an alternative melodic rapper.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of lyrical flow. He spits with a lot of style and charisma. So the thing about him is like his words really matter. So listening to the lyrics makes you feel something, and like it's positive. It's like upbeat, what we all need in this world. So like it's so funny because we're metalheads by nature, but then sometimes we'll be sitting there and Andre will be like, well, you know that you got this, and that's Six Minds Combined.
And it's catchy, and you have something.
It's very catchy, yes.
It's very catchy.
So we're gonna do that on the 4th of July. That's a Friday at Liquid Therapy from 12 to 4. I am trying to get one more band because I do like a variety show. So we have our feelers out, but if anybody, wants to reach out to us, they can reach out to us on our Facebook, New Hampshire Underground, and they can email newhampshireunderground@gmail.com with their music. And if they have an EPK, an electronic press kit, we like to see that they have a professional bent. If they want to work with us, it's okay that they don't, and we can help them develop it, but it's nice when, that's their trajectory already.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
That's great. You got a lot going on. You're a very busy lady.
Yes, I am. And then don't even make me talk about the rest of July and August. But yes, we have a lot going on always. So check out our website. It's newhampshireunderground.org. All the shows are always listed. You can buy tickets online. So we do a cool thing with tickets. We do $15 general admission and $20 VIP. And we used to have it just VIP, so you could always get pizza with your VIP ticket. Now we're doing VIP pit, which is like barbecue, VIP potluck, which everybody can bring something to share. So we're just kind of mixing it up.
Nice. That's great.
Yeah.
So for the artists, let's say a band isn't in a member in your club, but they want to perform there.
Oh yeah, they can.
Are they able to do it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you do not have to be a member at all, really. You can be a walk-in if you wanted to hang out for a night and just support by giving $10 and hanging out with us. But as a band, we do not require membership. We just want to hear your music, and we want to get your music out there for people to hear. And what we love is creating these intimate environments, because we can only have 50 to 60 people there. The fire marshal was adamant, no more than that, because it's a really kind of weird structure. It's residential. I mean, not residential.
Commercial.
It's not even commercial. It's general industrial.
Oh, general industrial.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
So there's some, fine lines, red tape, but we definitely can. Yeah, we definitely can have what we're having. The building owner loves it, and things are really great there. But we just want to be respectful of the community, and there are residential neighborhoods around. So we consider that more like a living room style environment where you can sit and chill like we are right now, and not. I mean, yes, you can stand up, but we're not moshing or anything per se. We might jump around a bit, but it's not like a huge space. So it's like the old jazz clubs or like a speakeasy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's nice. I mean, it's a great. I think it's a great concept. I already told you this the first time I saw it, and I wish you the best of success on that. I think that it's crucial and needed for the artists here and the community here who are really trying to do something different. And I think that anybody who's out there that's looking for some sort of space or resource, New Hampshire Underground, Terminus Club, everything. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused. New Hampshire Underground is the way to go. And reach out to Eleanor and her team.
Yes, please.
Because they'll guide you into the right path, and if it works out, sometimes if it's not a fit, it's not a good fit.
Yeah,
right.
That does happen. Humans are humans. We don't always work together, and sometimes we try, and then we do, and. It's all good.
So, Eleanor, we still have some time, so I'm going to ask you a couple more questions.
Sure.
So, what is something you want to tap into now that you haven't tapped into in regards to, the music space?
Good question, Jonathan. I think what we need to do more of is events that have purpose. Not just music for the sake of music, but with the and it doesn't always have to be even charitable. It could be idea and consciousness raising types of stuff, or community roundtable discussions of what we should be doing to support each other. Yeah, it seems almost, I don't want to say existential, but we're kind of in a little bit of an existential crisis in our society right now, and I want everyone to know that we are a safe space over there too. Anyone can be there, as long as you're respectful and follow the guidelines of, we have 5 tenets of Terminus. One of them is consent-based. One of them is no, hard drugs or anything like that. Just respecting everyone's personal property and personal space, those types of things. And, we just want to develop a healthy, ethical culture. So people are welcome to be there that, feel like maybe they don't feel welcome elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a great answer. That is a great answer. So you mentioned Dead Harrison. Dead Harrison's been around for quite some time, right?
Yeah, over 16 years now. Oh my goodness.
So how's that experience managing them? Obviously, you and Andre are partners.
Yeah, we just got engaged.
Congratulations. So how's that experience? When you tell us a little bit about how that started, managing Dead Harrison.
Yeah, sure. So I knew them originally when I was performing back in early 2000s, and they were a different band's name. They called themselves Mortuus Ortus, and then I kind of lost contact with them after our band broke up, and then later on I mentioned I went to Anders Memorial and they had just been playing, but I didn't even realize who they were until Andre came off the stage and he knew me, and then I realized, and I was like, oh my God. He's like, yeah. And then I learned it was Dead Harrison now. So I went to a Halloween show that they did and, you know, helped them. Not like I wasn't even asked. I just was helping. And then I started randomly booking shows for them, and it almost kind of happened organically. And then I booked a show over at, it's the Hidden Pig now, but it used to be that other barbecue place. Riverside. And we had shows there. And I must have had a great show for them because the guitarist Sean, which is Andre's brother, asked, "Will you be our manager now?" It was just like, hell yeah.
Just blend with it, right?
Yeah. So then I
cool.
just started, you know, doing stuff and learning more as I went and making sure that I was getting them paid, because that seemed to be the most important thing, that piece of the pie that wasn't happening. And I really started navigating like how the industry worked and what we needed to do to make it different. So we start, you know, this kind of thing later on, but Dead Harrison was really successful just of their own accord, because they're just such a, I think, diverse sounding band. Like they really bring something, a different level to the experience. Like they're the upper par.
Pretty household name around here, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. They are. And people that have not heard them always love them, and they're like, oh my God, how can I not know about them? So yeah, they're magic for me, and I fell in love with the band first, and then the man.
Yeah. Congratulations on that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
That's awesome. So, I think we might be concluding. It's 41 minutes at the moment.
Okay.
Was there anything else you wanted to add in regards to New Hampshire Underground, Terminus, and any upcoming shows that you're doing? We already mentioned that, but if there's anything else that we missed, you wanted to add?
So for people that want to explore the next level of their music or art career, what we do is we open up the community. There's Tuesday through Thursday every week from 7 to 11 p.m. And if you reach out to me either through email or message me on Facebook, I'll give you a tour. We could talk and we could sit down about, you know, how this would work for you. We have so many different membership levels. We have just a membership level that's musicians only membership, where you get access to our community jam space so that you can work on your stuff. We have it all set up with like, you know, there's a drum kit in there, so you don't even have to bring your own instruments if you don't want to. You can talk to some of our members and see how they like it. So we really want to have like kind of an open house environment. We are going to be having a open house general musicians and artists roundtable on July 26th.
Saw that event.
Yeah.
Invite. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. So if you want to come to that, did I say July 26th? I meant July 11th. Yeah, 7-Eleven. Scratch that 26. But yeah, so we're going to have Connor Coburn doing a little set there. He's a musician in town. And then we'll just sit around and meet each other. And I'm going to have snacks. So yeah, come on down.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I accepted an invite, so I'll definitely show up.
Then you'll get to see all
I'm very
the
interested.
changes,
Yeah, I like to see other perspective of other people. So
we have the best bathrooms in town. That's like the thing.
Scary as shit.
Yeah, the best dive bar bathrooms in town.
No, it's, that's a great idea though. I like that idea about the round table. Tell me a little bit about that though, and how you guys came up with that concept.
So we did that before the pandemic. We used to do it more up north towards Concord because we had a friend who owned a really cool place called Area 23, and we would go there and sit around with a bunch of, you know, musicians at the time only. I didn't invite artists at the time, but it was all musicians talking about different subjects like, you know, marketing or album artwork or distribution, you know, things that some people may have known that other people didn't. So real information sharing type stuff. So that's what we want to bring back. We want to bring that back into effect of like networking with promoters and sound engineers and expanding it to artists and letting people come in that could be like, you know, writers even, or filmmakers or video makers. So we want the whole entertainment industry of what we have in New England, because we do have one, to come forth and start talking to each other. And I want to do a etiquette class on how bands and others can speak to media and get more response from the media, because we've got a lot of media that people could tap into also.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's all really good.
Hello.
It's all really good stuff.
Yeah, I like that. I like that idea.
Nashua's a hub.
Yeah, I like that idea. That I don't think we've had something like that in the music in the community here that I can think of recently or even ever since I've been a part of some, you know, the
Yeah, it's always been so disparate. Like everyone's over here and some people's over here. But for me, I feel like it's time to bring each of us, like we might all be in like different areas of what the industry is, but there's a lot of like crossover of what.
Yeah, there is a lot of crossover, and a lot of people just do their own thing too. I mean,
and that's okay.
And that's okay, you know. And you just got, as long as you keep chugging along, I think that.
I'm just a people person.
So. So, do you have any advice for somebody who wanted to tap into the space that you're in, as far as marketing, music marketing, the services you provide? Is there, if you wanted to change a young person's life right now, and they don't know what to do with their career, why should they do what you do?
I think just don't be afraid. Your talent is very special. And like, I think that if you have a talent, if anybody has a talent, they should definitely use it and explore it. And just, if you're wanting support and don't know where to go, like I can help guide anybody at any level, really. So I would say just don't be afraid to contact me or to come by when we're open, and, just show us your art and we can kind of guide you in any possible way, because really the sky is the limit. It's just the direction you want to go.
That's a great answer. It's a great answer.
Yeah.
This is Eleanor Luna, New Hampshire Underground, Terminus. Go check them out. Great spot. They have great people. They provide great services. If you're an artist looking for somewhere to start, give them a shot. She knows what she's doing, and she knows what the hell she's talking about. So check them out.
Thanks, Gordy.
I'm Gordy. This is FlowTawk. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And I'll check you next time. Peace out.
Hope to see you guys.